Chapter 6 has officially arrived, bringing with it a brand new battle pass that's packed with fresh skins to explorers. And today, we're ranking every Chapter 6 battle pass. Skin from worst to best. Now, I do want to say, before we get started, this list is purely based on my opinion, so don't take it as a fact. If you agree, disagree, or have your own ranking, I'd love to see them in the comments below. With that said, let's kick off the list. Alright, I already know this placement is going to ruffle some feathers, but hear me out. Just because Baymax is ranked lower, doesn't mean that I think Skin is bad, it's just not. For me personally, I'm not a huge fan of Big Hero 6, so I don't get that extra level of hype that collabs often bring, if you're a fan of the source material. That aside, my main issue with the skin is the sheer size, as Baymax is a massive skin. I get that he needs to stay true to the character, but his bulkiness makes them less practical for gameplay, especially if you're like me, and you prefer skins that don't obstruct your view. That being said though, I do love the design of the skin, especially the alternate samurai style, which adds a Fortnite original twist to the character. So while I do appreciate the skin he lands at number 8 now, heading into Chapter 6, I was super hyped to see Kindo in game. But once I got my hands on him, I'll have to admit I was a little disappointed. His main two styles just feel a bit too generic for me, especially when you compare them to how unique and creative some of the other skins are in this battle pass. Now the Demon Hunter style is definitely a step up as it's way better than the base look, but even then it's just a slightly upgraded version of the base style, with a popped up collar, metallic colors, and a mask. Yes, it's cool, but for me it doesn't feel transformative enough. I really wish the skin had more progression in the styles, like how Ronin did in Chapter 3, Season 1, as he slowly built up into a more epic look. Adding something like a hooded style, more intricate details in the progression, or more color options for the demon style certainly would have gone a long way, and making Kindo stand out a bit more, but as it stands, he's not a bad skin at all, but he doesn't quite live up to the hype for me. Landing him at number 7, alright? I'll admit it. This is where my personal bias really starts to show, because I've seen a ton of people put Godzilla at the bottom of their list. I'm not a huge fan of skins with features like massive tails or overly bulky designs, and Godzilla is definitely both. That said, though the design of the skin is absolutely insane. Growing up, I loved Godzilla and the whole monster movie genre, so seeing him in Fortnite is honestly surreal. This is one of those collabs that I thought would never happen yet. Here we are, and I think Epic did a fantastic job scaling Godzilla down as much as they realistically could to make him a skin in the game. But even with that scaling, he still has the same problem as Baymax, as the skin is just too big for my preference. And I know a lot of you out there enjoy the more goofy, larger-than-life skins, but for me, even though with my nostalgic love for Godzilla, I can't justify putting him any higher on the list as the rest of the skins on this list. I see myself running all season long while 6 through 8, like Godzilla are more of a try it once or twice and then move on. Kind of still it's an amazing skin, just not practical enough to crack the top 5 now. Or from this point on, I genuinely love every skin on this list, and all of these could swap spots any given day of the week, because I enjoy running them so much. Dago in particular surprised me in the best way. When the key art came, he was the skin I was the least excited for, and even on launch day, he didn't really grab my attention, but once I unlocked him a few days into the season, everything changed. The black, gold, and white color scheme is super clean, and while I do wish he had more mask options like Haven from Chapter 3, Season 1 with all the anti-masks that we see in game, as well as a hooded alternate style. Those are just nitpicks, as I think what we already have in the game is good enough. Overall, I think Daigo is massively underrated, as I've seen him ranked near the bottom of most of people's list, but for me, he's a standout skin, landing him at number 5. And before we move on to the next skin, make sure you smash that sub button. Only 10% of you right now are actually subscribed. So make sure you join us on the road to 10K. I have a massive video in the works to celebrate that milestone when we hit it, that you definitely don't want to miss. And of course, if you're enjoying the video, drop a like as it really helps out the channel. And don't forget to use code TWISTYCHASE in the Fortnite